So 2 months back, Linkin Park made their return to the music scene, and people are a bit mixed on the new singer. This is Emily Armstrong, and until now she's known mostly for being the lead singer of the band Dead Sarah. Her voice is incredible and her screams are next level. I watched their live event in its entirety as it was happening, and it was absolutely amazing. The stage was wild, the lights and visuals were awesome, and goddamn it is nice to hear Linkin Park playing live again. Everyone looked so happy to be there, and it was a phenomenal show, and they've actually been doing other phenomenal live shows since their return. Unfortunately, because we live in the dumbest time period, 2024, not long after the band returned, a lot of hate started going around. Oh my god, she's into Scientology, so disrespectful. And it was good. She's not even that good. Who is she? Shame. Listen, there's a few potential red flags in this situation, but you need to hear me out. Aerosmith, one of the biggest rock bands of all time, they still have a whopping 21 million listeners monthly on Spotify. Steven Tyler heavily groomed a 16-year-old and forced them to do the no baby procedure. Pretty bad, right? Well, I bet you still listen to Sweet Emotion, don't you? John Lennon was an abuser, Bob Marley was accused of rape, and I could go on. Musicians, I mean, kind of just people in general, do a lot of really bad things, but we still listen to Yellow Submarine. I'm not saying any of these things are good, in fact they're all detestable, but listen, she was involved in a weird religion, and you should never judge someone based on their religious beliefs, at least not to this extent. And she had a very shitty friend who did some very shitty things, and she supported them because she was their friend. That's a good friend thing to do. As soon as it came out that he was guilty, she cut ties with him completely, and that is the right thing to do in that scenario. All this hate comes at what should be a new height of her career. That's just how this generation works. Positives get overlooked, and negatives get stretched as thin as they can. Now look, getting me to enjoy music that's come out in the last decade is nearly impossible. But holy shit, The Emptiness Machine is literally one of my favorite songs of all time. I can't count on both hands and feet how many times I've heard it, and I will listen to it countless more. Heavy as the Crown is great too, aside from its shitty League of Legends music video. And I mean, like, they've put out some other songs too since then, and I mean, they're all pretty good. Emily clearly has what it takes to lead this band. Now, we do have to talk about Chester and what it means to move on without him. Chester obviously was a huge part of Linkin Park's success up to this point, and it's very different without him in the band. But can things just not move on without him? It's been 7 long years since his passing, and this is the first time the band has properly gotten back to make new music. Obviously, someone needed to step into Chester's role. Are they replacing him? This is the big thing a lot of people are saying online. Oh, you're trying to replace Chester. No one's trying to replace Chester. One example that I like to use in this scenario is 3 Days Grace. 3 Days Grace are another hugely successful band, and their original lead singer, Adam Gontier, left the band to battle addictions and pursue some new projects. With an open spot, Matt Walsh walked in, and as far as I'm concerned, he's done a pretty damn good job. They've put out several singles and albums since he's joined, and they just moved on. Side note, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Adam Gontier is actually coming back to 3 Days Grace to play alongside Matt Walsh and the rest of the band for the first time properly in over a decade. The SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 player in me is very excited, and I'm hoping to catch them in concert along with Linkin Park. Moral of the story is that sometimes a band just needs to move on. Chester will never be forgotten and will go down in history for everything he's contributed. But if the band died with him, where would that leave everyone else? And where would that leave Linkin Park as a whole? Of course, the band members could go off and do their side projects, and I mean, like, a lot of them did. But when you have a name like Linkin Park, and you have the brand power of that name as well, you should capitalize on it. I know it sounds a bit cunty, but there is definitely a business aspect here as well. It's controversial to say that, but it is business at the end of the day, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. Like, yes, you could have just had all of the members from Linkin Park, minus Chester, and Emily Armstrong form their own thing, but why not just do Linkin Park and make it like a memorial to Chester at the same time? Most of the band is still there, and I'm sure they are extremely happy to be back in the studio. And I mean, as controversial as this sounds as well, Mike Shinoda has always been the backbone of the band since the very beginning. Chester has said in his own words that without Mike, there is no Linkin Park. It's not like a group of misfits just bought the name and started performing as Linkin Park. Like, Chester's spirit can still very much be felt, and it helps that Emily is an amazing presence. Her vocals are unlike anything around nowadays, and her persona is hard as a rock. I am beyond excited to see what they're going to be able to do, and if they're going to be able to change modern music as a whole. With bands like Linkin Park and even 3 Days Grace around nowadays in this new age, it's going to get some new eyes on rock, and that's a very good thing no matter how you look at it. So what do you think? Will someone's beliefs and who they build friendships with turn you off from their music entirely when you support others that are much worse? Are you one of the dick breathers who will shit on the doorstep of the house that's not even finished being built yet? I know it's not for everyone, and I'm sure there might be some things I've left out, so if there is, or if you have any comments whatsoever, leave them in the comment section and I will get back to you. Click like if you liked the video, click dislike if you disliked it. That's what the buttons are there for. Also, make sure to subscribe, click the bell, and follow me on socials at thisisdilly. And, of course, check out Dilly Plays as well. Links in the description there. I've been your host as always. This is Dilly, signing out.